All right. Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This meeting is being held in the council chambers, which are open for the public attendance and participation. This meeting will also be live streamed for public viewing, but not participation at the link identified on our agenda. Emailed comments sent and received by the city clerk at least 24 hours before tonight's meeting were distributed to the city council prior to tonight. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Shaw.
Here.
Vice Mayor Kirchner.
Here.
Councilmember Butengarten.
Here.
Councilmember Espandola. Here. Councilmember Harris.
Here.
All right. If you will please join me and stand for invocation that will be given by Michael Ciciola Jr. from Calvary Christian Center. And please remain standing for the pledge to be by Councilmember Butengarten tonight. You may be seated. All right. Mr. Chaffin, will you please report out of closed session tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session. I would note for the record, however, that Councilmember Harris was in attendance at all times at 5:03 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And moving on for agenda modifications or approval of agenda by the council, let the council know and the public know staff has requested that item 12, which is the declaration of surplus land, the housing successor agency to the Yuba City Redevelopment Agency properties, be pulled and rescheduled for the 11:15 meeting. So we'll be pulling item 12 tonight to come forth at the next meeting. Any other changes that need to happen this evening? Okay, hearing none, the agenda stands as it is with the one change. So move on to ceremonial presentations, and this is the fun part of what we get to do. The first one is the National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week. We have a proclamation. I'd like to invite Mr. Brad McIntyre and Megan Anderson and all the Sutter Animal Services Authority staff to come forward and join us right here at the front. Why don't, Megan, why don't you come on over here in the middle with Mr. McIntyre? And actually, you guys just kind of All on in here. You guys are the ones being honored tonight. So, all right. Come on in. I'll just slide out here, make it easy. So. On behalf of the city and all of our residents and the council, before I read the proclamation, I just want to say thank you to Megan, you and your team, everyone, Brad. You guys provide a valuable service, and I know that you guys have been faced with some obstacles this past year, and you stood up real quick when there was animals in distress out in the county, and it overloaded the animal shelter, and you guys did one heck of a job. So just want to start by saying thank you. So with that, we will go ahead and recognize the National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week, which is November 6th through 12th, 2022. Whereas there are more than 45 million cats and 69 million dogs living in more than 90 million households across the U.S. And whereas the irresponsibility of some pet owners and resulted in animals running loose and unsupervised, causing a threat to public safety and health. And whereas pet owners who have not had their companion animals spayed or neutered contribute to pet overpopulation. And whereas animal shelters help both animals and people in many ways by returning lost pets to their owners, enforcing animal control laws, rescuing injured animals, educating the public, and matching up families with new animal companions. And if I will add, new family members. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dave Shaw, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of November 6th through the 12th, 2022, to be the National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week in recognition of Sutter Animal Services Authority for providing compassionate services to animals and people in our community. And who would like this, Megan or Brad? Megan, everybody's pointing at you. Let's give them a hand.
I would just like to thank everyone from the council and from members of the public. I'd like to say thank you for recognizing us. Our job is a very passionate one, and your support really means a lot to us. So thank you for recognizing us tonight. I know that everyone here is very proud of what we do, and we really appreciate your support. So thank you.
I couldn't have said it any better. Staff has had a challenging year. Certainly with the cruelty case, first time probably in the history of animal shelter for Sutter County, and they stepped up and did an amazing job. So again, thank you, council, for recognizing staff. It's important to them, and they do a great job. So thank you.
Oh, go ahead and give them another hand. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice job. It's not goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right, as we transition, we're going to move on to the Small Business Saturday proclamations. And if I could have Rick from Sawyer Sweet Spot, if I could have Kevin from K. Roberts, and if I could have Lisa and Steve from Spurbex. Sawyers, and who do I have K. Roberts. All right. Well, welcome. You know, it's small business is really part of the backbone of our community. And while we need all businesses, it's our small businesses that are embedded in our community that go beyond just the retail transaction or the professional transaction. You're the backbone. You know, I go down to to Plumas Street and I can run into you and talk to you. Matter of fact, we talked about, sounds weird, I'm in an ice cream shop where we're talking about pairing wine with chocolate in an ice cream shop. So nothing weird about it. It's all good. But, small businesses are the backbone of this nation and our community. And so we want to recognize you guys for being a part of our community and a small business. And we have these proclamations. So Small Business Saturday is coming up on November 26, 2022. And whereas locally owned businesses contribute to our unique and vibrant community character, and whereas small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and the glue that holds communities together, creating jobs, boosting the local economy, and preserving our neighborhoods. And whereas in 2021, U.S. shoppers who shopped at independent retailers and restaurants on Small Business Saturday reported spending a record high total of an estimated $20 billion. We need all that here. They can get everywhere else, but we need 20 billion here. And whereas 7 in 10 American adults reported being aware of that day, and whereas 96% of respondents who shopped on Small Business Saturday agreed that shopping at small independently owned businesses supports their commitment to making purchases that have a positive social, economic, and environmental impact. There we go. And whereas consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday agree that small businesses are essential to their community. And whereas 95% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday reported that day makes them want to shop or eat at small independently owned businesses all year long, not just during the holiday season. And whereas we are grateful to the small locally owned businesses of Yuba City for their generous contributions to the quality of life we all enjoy, now therefore be it resolved that I, Dave Shaw, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize November 26, 2022 as Small Business Saturday and urge the citizens of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. So thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and give these to them. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Wade's got yours there. Now, it's not just giving you a proclamation. Would you guys like to say a few words?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, this is wonderful. I'd like to thank the City of Yuba City, the council members. From the very beginning, the city's been so supportive, and I'm also part of the Yuba City downtown business, and the city's helped in innumerable ways there too, and it's been a really great opportunity for me to have my business here, and it all started here for me. So again, thank you. This is really nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. My family's been in business in our community since the 40s, and it's been good to us, and I hope we've been good to you. And we appreciate your support, or continued support, and come by and visit us at Cape Roberts during the holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate everything. It's a big help. Got to thank my wife because, as Wade knows, I do the construction. She does the nursery. Thank all the public for all their support and just appreciate everything. And hopefully a small business in November is pretty good for all of us. Thank you.
Oh, I have
All right, thank you, guys. Let's give them all another round of applause. Nice. This is before we get extras. We got these. Good. All right. All right. Next one is Veterans Day. And this is something that is very near and dear to my heart because of serving in the United States Air Force. But Mike Nichols, if you would come down, and you were the Yuba-Sutter stand down, which does a fabulous job here in our area. It's one of the largest in the state, if I remember correctly, if not the largest in the state of California. We're getting close. But I don't just want to recognize the stand down, because again, it's about the people that they serve. So I would like to ask anybody in attendance that's our employees to come down and join if you're a veteran, if you've served in the military. Yes, that would be the two of you. All right. Then the next group is if you are a veteran and have served our country, please come down and join us. Right in there. All right. So with that, we're going to give me paper that's stapled, and I have to get it to where I can go. So, all right. So with this, we're going to present the stand down with a proclamation. And so Veterans Day is November 11th, 2022. Whereas it's been a long custom to commemorate November 11th, the anniversary of the ending of World War I, by paying tribute to the heroes of the tragic struggle and by rededicating ourselves to the cause of peace. And whereas throughout the history of our nation, our men and women in uniform have risked their lives to protect the interest of our country and defend our freedoms. And whereas Yuba City citizens and Americans throughout the United States live in freedom because of the contributions and sacrifices made by those who have served and by those who continue to serve. And whereas these sacrifices are also made by the family members who support these men and women who preserve the liberties that enrich both this community and the nation. And whereas Yuba City is honored to be the home of about 4,800 veterans. And whereas on this Veterans Day, Yuba City remembers that we are forever indebted to the service members who have fought and died in defense of our country. And whereas as we reflect upon the enormous contributions made to our commonwealth and country by our fallen heroes, we also pay tribute to a new generation who have chosen to serve in United States Armed Forces and remain committed to sustaining this legacy of unyielding patriotism. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dave Shaw, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize November 11th, 2022 as Veterans Day, and I call this observance to the attention of all of Yuba City citizens. I present that to you, and then to each one of you, we have this for you as a veteran. Sir? We have more. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank the council, City of Yuba City, City of Marysville, and the surrounding areas and the counties we do serve for their support for this year's stand down. I mean, it's been a time off for us for about 2.5 years, and we opened up at a new location. We tried to get rid of the circus tents and move into buildings to make our providers feel better and make it a little easier for those veterans that can't get around. We look forward to improving and making ourselves as large as we want to be. We are the second largest in the state of California. The only people bigger than us is LA County with about 2,000. So we're pushing the envelope, and we're looking to get that 4,500 to 4,800 vets to come down and see what's out there for us. We were very fortunate to have city councils of both Marysville and Yuba City and the board of supervisors from counties and other businesses in the area that do support us to actually come down and see what we do. And it was very worthwhile for us to see that many people down there. And we thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask our veterans to introduce themselves, let us know when they served and what branch.
Hi, Philip Marler, United States Navy from 2000, 2005.
Scott Chandler, U.S. Air Force, 90 to 94.
Bill Evans, United States Air Force, 1976 to 1981.
Tony Curlin, U.S. Army, 1971 to 1981.
I'm really going to date myself after these guys. John Boyer, and I was in the Air Force from 1959 to 1962.
All right, let's give them all a hand. All right. Who would like to take a picture? Thanks again. Thank you. Say senior center. I gotta figure out how many jokes they got for me left over the next month and a half. All right, thank you all. We're going to move on to our Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. And as Bill said, Bill gets to stay up here with us. So let's slide on in. We're really feel spread out here, so we'll slide in here together. So please welcome Bill Evans from Walk to End. It's Alzheimer's, right? I'm going to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month is November of 2022. Whereas more than 6 million Americans and the family members and friends who love them, Alzheimer's disease can be devastating. This common form of dementia is a cruel and fatal condition that erodes the ability to think, to recall precious memories, and to live independently. And whereas as we mark National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month, we also honor those who care and provide for the victims of this devastating disease. The work of our nation's caregivers can be physically demanding and emotionally exhausting, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when caregivers had made substantial sacrifices to protect their loved ones suffering from Alzheimer's. And whereas it is critical that we keep up the fight against Alzheimer's until a cure is found and continue to care for all those affected by this condition in the meantime. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dave Shaw, the mayor of the city of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire city council, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2022 to be Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. I call upon the people of Yuba City to learn more about Alzheimer's and to offer their support to the individuals living with this disease and their caregivers. Bill will present this to you. Let's give him a hand. You like to say it?
Just a couple. You touched on all the metrics, so I won't go too much into that. But again, my name is Bill Evans, and my wife and I have been involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's for quite a few years now. That's her standing back there as my lovely wife and photographer. You hit the metrics, so we just want to say on behalf of the Northern California and Nevada Alzheimer's Association, we just want to thank the city council, thank the community members for being involved with this. Like you said, it's a devastating disease. To receive this proclamation is definitely a heartfelt moment for me because I lost my mom in 2014. So again, thanks everyone for the recognition. We most definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, those are the good things we get to do as a council, recognizing people. Let's go on to public communication. Agenda item 5, appearance of interested citizens. You're welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or business items on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on any other item within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on the agenda, will be considered at this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public submitting written requests at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be allotted 5 minutes to comment per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express opinions of the group. We do have one written request. Mr. PR Joel, you have 5 minutes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record as usual, sir. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, members of the council. I just want to go over the meeting that we had a week ago Saturday. The things that I said or I did, I try to say everything that is truthful and not, hindered by anything other than. Now, we talked with Mr. Carmen Singh Baines concerning the $70,000 that I said that his father wanted for the storm drain, and he claimed no, it was not, and he was at the meeting, and he did this and he did that. So after leaving that meeting, I researched that was not so. Mr. Carmen Baines was not sent to apologize by his grandfather. Mainly, that was for a storm drain that his father wanted to have it done by the temple. Now, looking at it or going through, Didar's father was a president of the Gurdwara at the time. He asked them to sign up the paperwork. He denied. His request was the two people that will okay it, then it will be decided. And those two people were Dr. Gulzar S. Joe and Mr. Mihar S. Tumber. And neither one was going to go ahead and do that. So it was for Didar's benefit. So let that go. Then the second thing that Mr. Carnbane said, that they have signed up with D.R. Horton just a week ago, and they're still paying for the infrastructure, the partnership of Harder Packing LLC. Now, I don't mind missing a day, a week, a month to say this thing. I have a documents here that they signed it back in September of 21 with D.R. Horton. Now, you can come up and say, well, so what? A year ago, they did that. But what I'm trying to get at is, it's a lie. Why couldn't he said it? Hey, we signed this thing a year ago. Hey, that's fine. Now, getting on to the other subject that I was kind of cornered in and saying, I will not come over and discuss this anymore if you even bring me the documents that what they have said that Didar S. Baines donated or gave the properties to those two public entities. And they came to you, then to me. The reason I wanted that was because that way you will have a knowledge of it. I've been preaching that from day one over 9 months. Nobody have listened. I hope that you would look at that document now. Now, if you're careful to look at that document, all other recordings are done. Now, this says the copy, this came from you. Right up on the top, it says, this instrument filed for record by Placer Title Company as an accommodation only. It has not been examined as to its execution or as to its effect upon the title. Now, Diana and I discussed that thing last Tuesday, and we tried to find out what that means. Well, I had to call the title company to find it. It means we're not responsible for this document. Whether it is recorded or not recorded, we're not. But if you look at all the other documents that are recorded, they don't have that. So meaning is that they were doing this gentleman a favor. Whether it's a lie in there or a truth, nobody knows, okay? Now here's the truth going toward on it. Now they claimed that Guru Ram Das Khalsa School is a nonprofit entity. It is not. It is a corporation that Mr. Didar S. Baines established. I have the documents. I've had all these documents from the day one that I've been coming out here. The only problem is none of you have listened to it. Now, the document started way back 4/29/98. Okay, and it started out with 7.5 acres and naming it under the Sri Guru Ram Das Khalsa School nonprofit. Now, Mr. Shah, as a businessman in there, a corporation which is nonprofit gets the nonprofit benefits, but this was a personal entity for Mr. Darius Benz. So he got all the nonprofit benefits without paying lower tax, higher taxes against and any of these things against the law. Now, I have another document which states that Sri Guru Ram Das Khalsa School of Northern California, Yuba City, nonprofit, was established May 29, 97. Now, it went on for 25 years, but the status on there is dissolved. In August 1, 2003,
If you can wrap it up, Mr. Joel?
Well, it was the Franchise Tax Board. It was the dissolution of certificate March 28, 2018.
All right.
So meaning is that none of that had come to you, has been a true, it's been lied. So we'll take again in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I've got one speaker card. Liz Cervantes, you've asked to speak. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Liz Cervantes. I live in District 5 in Sutter County. I've been in these chambers a lot in the not so distant past, but there's been 5 different players where you all are sitting, and that would be the supervisors. So for the first time in probably 3 years, I am at a city council meeting, and it is for the sole purpose of congratulating you, Mayor Shaw. The letter that Diana Langley and you put together for the county that I'm certain you haven't received an answer for. You are doing a huge service to your community, especially to the city of Yuba City. Measure A is a general sales tax that right now the city has absolutely nothing to do with. We find that appalling. We find it unacceptable. This is an egregious 1% sales tax that will go into the general fund, but yet where most of the retail sales are generated is within the city of Yuba City. We are fighting that Measure A goes down next week. It's a terrible tax at an unbelievable time. The supervisors have been nothing but non-transparent. We cannot get any answers, although the internet is a pretty handy tool. And we have been able to uncover a lot of our own details that will be coming forward. We are not receiving answers. There were 5 town hall meetings. Carm Baines had one. Matt Conant had 2. Nick McKelly had one. Ziegenmeyer had one. The main area of where we're talking about is District 2, which is Dan Flores' area, and he chose not to have a town hall meeting. No questions were answered that day. The citizens did have their own town hall meeting, and I will tell you that there were about 3 times as many people at that town hall meeting without any county government there, and it was really productive. But I wanted to tell you that it is so pleasant coming to a meeting at 6 p.m. The 3 p.m. meetings that the supervisors have, it is the most inconvenient time of the day. And I just would like to thank you, Diana. I contacted you. And if dealing with the county was as easy as dealing with the city, I doubt I'd have a single complaint. Diana was friendly. She was helpful. The first question she asked me was, what is your email address? And in minutes, seconds, I had what I was looking for. I think that trust is very, very important right now. People have trust issues, both at the federal, the state, the local level. The city of Yuba City is in good hands with this council. You've stood in the gap and you haven't backed down. And I'm really grateful. I don't live in the city limits. My husband and I can't vote for any of you, but we wish we could. And thank you. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. I don't have any more speaker cards. Is there anyone that else would like to speak tonight under communications? Interested citizens? Any more public comment? Any more public comment? Hearing none. Thank you to those who spoke tonight. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Items 6 through 10. And all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time that the council votes on the motion, unless members of the city council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual actions. Do we have any questions from the council before I open up public comment? Okay. Is there any public comment on the consent items? Any public comment on the consent items? Hearing none, bring it back to council for action.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I like to, or excuse me, Mayor, I like to move consent items 6 through 10.
I have a motion by Councilmember Espandola.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. We'll move right along to agenda item 11. Mr. Chaffin, you okay over there, sir? Do you need a moment of personal privilege or anything? Okay. Maybe the consent calendar was just too much to swallow tonight, right? All right, we will go to our business items. 11, declaration of surplus land on city properties, and that'll be presented by our city manager, Diana Langley. Ms. Langley, you have the floor.
Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, Mayor and Council. It's only Tuesday. It's already been a long week. What can I say? All right, so for background, the Surplus and Land Act governs the disposition of land owned by the city that is determined to be no longer necessary for the city's use. And in 2019, Governor Newsom signed into law AB 1486, which significantly expanded the procedural requirements under the act. So tonight before you are two specific properties. One's located on Wilbur Avenue and the other's on Percy Avenue. And so you have this property on Wilbur Avenue. So the yellow is city-owned property. The blue are previously our successor agency-owned property that council has already deemed to be surplus. And then you have the city-owned property down here just north of the roundabout at Percy and Plumas. And so with council's approval tonight, once this property is deemed as surplus, we will go through the process with HCD to try to dispose of this property. I will release the notice of availability at the same time as I do for the successor agency-owned properties, as there might be somebody that's interested in, particularly these two properties here where they're combined. And so again, the process is the notice of availability goes out. It goes to there's at least 200 plus developers on the list. They have 60 days to submit a letter of intent. If somebody submits a letter of intent, that then starts a 90-day process for negotiation of an agreement. If an agreement is determined, then that goes to HCD for review and approval. If we can't come to an agreement, then it goes to HCD for review to make sure that we can still proceed with disposing of the properties. The alternative is to not declare those properties surplus. With the fiscal impact, any proceeds that we receive from the sale of the property will go to the city's general fund. And with that, here's my recommendation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Is there any questions from the council this evening?
I just have a comment on
Yes, sir.
right? No questions.
No question? Any question? Do you want to make your comment now or after?
Sure. Thank you, Diana. I just want to make sure for those that may be watching or in the audience, the Surplus Land Act, while well-intentioned as an effort to try to provide housing, strips cities of local control of property that they own. And we are very, very hamstrung, if you will, in how to dispose of our own property. And like I said, it's well-intentioned, but just realize that that, this it has a strict procedural fashion which needs to occur. And it's very frustrating for us, I think, on the city council to have to deal with that instead of taking control of our own property.
All right. Anything else from the council? Okay, just to piggyback off of that, Ms. Langley, we can't go out and if a local builder wanted to build on that, we can't go to them first. We have to go through this process because of the Surplus Land Act, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, because I know that's what the council member was trying to get to. Is a lot of people go, why don't you build? Why don't you do that? But we are hand tied. So.
However, I would recommend if any local builders are interested to sign up on HCD's website to be on the list. And then that way they receive the notice of availability.
Great, thank you. All right, with that, we'll open it up to public comment. Is there any comments from the public? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, we will bring it back to the council for any follow-up questions or action.
The mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move that we adopt a resolution declaring certain city-owned properties to be surplus land and direct the city manager to follow the procedures set forth in the Surplus Land Act for the sale of such properties.
I have a motion by the vice mayor. Do I have a second? I have a motion by the vice mayor. I have a second by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. As noted earlier, agenda item 12 was pulled. It will be on the November 15th meeting agenda, which has to do with the successor agency properties. I believe those were the ones in blue up there, correct?
No, the properties that will be under discussion on November 15th are housing successor agency
Gotcha.
properties.
Okay, got ahead of myself there. Sorry. All right. So now we will go to agenda item 13. Is there any future agenda items that the council want to make known at this time? Perfect. Then we will go to our reports and communications and start with, again, Ms. Langley, our city manager.
So when we attended the League of California Cities conference in September, there was a vendor there, CGI Digital, in which they prepare videos for communities free of charge to the community. And they do that by getting sponsorships from businesses to basically advertise on the videos. And so with that, we are working with CGI to do 6 videos related to Yuba City, and they will all have a different topic. We have a representative coming out next Monday to meet with businesses to find sponsorships. Also, they will, for nonprofits, they will highlight them for free. And then December 8th and 9th, the production team is coming out to do the film, take film so that they can add to the videos. And Vice Mayor Kirschner is going to be in the welcome video, and as he will be mayor once these videos are completed. And this is really a vendor that he was very excited about and brought all of us to go see and meet and introduce. So it's so appropriate that he be involved in the videos, as this is, I think, a passion project for him. So we're excited to be able to highlight Yuba City. We have some great topics. With the other thing I want to recognize is the police department with their trick or treat open house this last Saturday. I think Commander Eschman said over 500 attendees. There was a line waiting to get in. And that's in a 2-hour period, over 500 attendees. And PD has some great events scheduled for over the next few months. And just congratulations to that team. There's Senior Resource Day at the Senior Center this Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon. And we encourage seniors within the community to go to the Senior Resource Day to see what resources are available. So with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Langley. I only have one question. Does the vice mayor have to shave?
We actually had a discussion about that because it is No Shave November. And so he is doing a little video tomorrow to give to the businesses to introduce why that this is a legitimate endeavor by the city. And so we actually had a full discussion about shave, no shave. And in December, he'll be clear because we'll be past that.
These are my problems.
Yes.
Hello. One thing I love about this council, they got a great sense of humor. So awesome. Thank you, Ms. Langley. Councilmember Espindola.
Thanks, Mayor. Great job, Vice Mayor. I really love the whole idea that you brought forward from the League of Cities. And I think, a little more tan maybe to just, represent the beautiful sun that we have in our city, but it's going to be really cool. I'm glad you brought that forward for our city. So thank you for that. Some of the really interesting meeting with our countywide oversight board meeting, and that ties into these surplus land requirements and the successor. It was actually item 12 that was going to be brought forward, but we're going to bring that on the 15th. So it's a process that seems a little bit redundant to me and takes forever, but something that we need to do in order for us to be able to release some of these properties and maybe do some projects that would probably be good for the community. And I hope that we can get there sooner than later. It was really cool participating with the Downtown Business Association. A lot of us were there in part of their trick or treat downtown. It was so much fun doing the cross guard effect. I think I need an extra person on my street. I was trying to kind of like in the middle. So I understand how you feel, Sam, in the middle of the street. You can get really quickly ran over. But it was fun. It was the greatest time to watch the kids, family get together and just be in downtown Yuba City and in a really safe environment. And thank you for everyone that participated. Also went and supported, I think others went there, the vice mayor too. I got there after at the Plus group, the after hours through the chamber, 30 years of business totality. I don't think in Yuba City, I think I said it was here in Yuba City, but totality, it's been 30 years. And then I participated on the Regional Water Authority Board executive meeting, and a lot of actions there for the next board meeting, which will happen this month. It's already November, snuck up on me. And I plan on going to the Senior Resource Center, see what really cool things are happening. In talking to a lot of people, it's kind of one of those treasures that we have in our community that sometimes people don't always know that's available. So it's really cool that this is being put together. But it's really definitely a neat center, a lot of good services, excellent staff, and I will look forward to be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris.
Oh, thank you very much. A couple of things this last couple of weeks. I attended the rededication ceremony for the Arboga Assembly Center out there in South Yuba County, which is a site of a center where Americans of Japanese descent were forcibly relocated during World War II. And so we had a rededication ceremony for that facility there. Very well attended, over 100 people attended that. I was asked to and did host a meeting for SACOG regarding unmet transit needs, part of the process for developing strategic plans as we survey the community and hold public hearings to determine public opinion on reasonably unmet transit needs, in their opinion, that are reasonably able to be mitigated. So there we go. So that went well. Short meeting, but it went well. Also, was nice to be asked to participate in an interview on 93Q Radio with our mayor and city manager, talking all things Yuba City, which is very enjoyable and always informative. Attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for Axe Me, the axe throwing facility there in the old Carriage Square, which was a lot of fun. And I'll just leave it at that. If anybody has a chance to do that, it's pretty interesting. And that was also very well attended, which was nice to see. That was immediately followed. We had to leave early, matter of fact, so the mayor and I could attend the bike path feasibility study public meeting at Gray Avenue Elementary. I think that was also fairly well attended, and that we had a lot of good comment and suggestions from the public on that. So that was a major next step, mission accomplished in that regard. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Baumgarten.
Thank you. Pretty light meeting schedule for me, other than what we have had here. Project Home Key Group, which we're continuing to take a look at options for an application, which I think, Dana, please correct me, but now we're moving to spring for that application. They keep pushing it back, but we're still working with our partners to provide a potential application that could lead to some more affordable housing, which is definitely needed here in our community. Did attend the AXME ribbon cutting and recognition, and that's the first time I've ever thrown an axe. I mean, I've used an axe before, but that was the first time I had a chance to throw one. I actually stuck it in the wood too, but the sheriff was much better at it than we were, I think. Did the Halloween trick or treat along with my colleagues here. A great event from the Downtown Business Association. A couple things I want to just remind everyone that at least up here is we have an emergency operation plan that we need to take a look at and provide back to our fire chief. This is a very important document as we continue to move the emergency preparedness of this city as a priority. And finally, we're a week away from voting, so I just encourage everyone to make sure that if you have not voted already, that you do so before the 8th of November. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. It certainly is great to see that it still can rain in the state of California. I don't know. It seemed like everybody was in a good mood today when I got to City Hall, and everybody was talking about how nice it was to hear the rain again. So I attended transit past week. We did not have a quorum, so no action was taken. Something that we did look at though was informational. It's called Next Gen Transit Plan, and so what they're looking for is input, and this was open for the public. Input in ideas to increase ridership. The ridership, and this is across the country, ridership's down even before COVID hit. And so they were asking for input, what our ideas, what the public ideas were to increase ridership. RWMA, we appointed a new executive director, which is the big news. And that's been a long and tedious process, but I think we came to agreement on a good candidate. I attended the Plus Group 30 years appreciation. I was honored to be invited out to Yuba College to attend the Nina Gill. It was they named the counseling center after Miss Gill, and they talked about her life and how impactful she was to students and the community out there. So that was very well attended, and so that was nice to see. We had a Sabufka, Center Beach Flood Control Agency special meeting that was called, and this was to address property owner concerns of folks that live along 2nd Street. So if you're familiar with that area, there's a section of levee that runs, it's about 22 properties that the property owners actually own the levee. And as property owners, one of the responsibilities is to maintain the property because every so often the Army Corps of Engineers will go in and conduct inspections, and what they want to see is line of sight. And so there was a few months back, there was a cleanup crew that went through there and removed some vegetation, and some of the property owners were concerned that they weren't notified properly. And so this special meeting was called to address that. And I think we connected with the folks that was well attended. I think we connected with those folks, and we tried to we made sure that they knew that they were being listened to. That the one thing that we got from them is they do understand how important their part is in being a partner with the city and the county and the role in that. So that was productive. And then lastly, I did attend the AXME grand opening, and that was nice to see another business open in our city. That's it.
Thank you. And Vice Mayor, thank you for covering RWMA for me. Appreciate that. Fall's a busy time. We're into that kind of that last part of October. Not much as far as committees, but just a lot of things going on in the community. I was at Plumas Street with my colleagues, and I would get out of the traffic and then get out there and stop the traffic, because I was not going to stand like these guys do in the middle, because I was going to get run over. So thank you to our DBA for putting that on. It was very well attended. The kids had a great time. Attended or stopped by the Harvest Festival out at Calvary Church, the one that Michael Ciciola Jr. was here with today. Another safe environment for kids to go and have some Halloween fun and fall fun and trick or treat. Got to attend a private movie viewing that was here at Cinemark that'll be coming out in February, I believe. It's called Jesus Revolution. So check that out when it comes out. Did the AXME ribbon cutting, which was great. I could not stick it either. It would just hit and bounce. But I will tell you, kudos to the Bossy family, because I think that is one of the best top-notch places that I've seen when it comes to axe throwing and entertainment. So great job, and looking for continued success there. And then we jetted out to the Bike Path Town Hall. Ms. Langley, thank you to you and your team and everyone that put that together. And there's Ben, your team, sir. So they did a great job, and it was nice. Councilmember Harris and myself just kind of had to pitch in on a couple of things where they got away from the bike path and onto other things, and get it back to the bike path. So looking forward to the next steps in that, because this will allow us to start putting together a plan to where we can seek funding. Lots of decisions, a lot of points ahead, but this is the first step. As they explained to people that night, if you have a shovel-ready project, you can get grant funding. If you've got a dream, not so much in the grant funding. So this will get us eventually to a shovel-ready to where we can start looking at next steps. And Sean, thank you, because you had the passion for this thing for years now. So it's going to be a great thing when it comes together. We had a Yuba City Fire Department badge pinning and a Yuba City Police Department badge pinning. And congratulations to all those, and kudos to the departments. Both departments, one word always comes to mind, and that's family, because you guys pull the whole family in when they take that oath of office and get their badge. So thank you, Commander. Thank you, Chief. I know you're online there. And then kudos to PD. What an event. I tried to come in and just say hello, and I had to go backwards because you could not get in the front way. It was just so jammed. Kids were so excited. And you guys did a great job. So I hope this was just the first one of many, many more to come. So looking forward, we've got more things to come about, and we're going to go into the busy season. To echo what my council member said, is make sure you exercise your right to vote in a week, because that is our constitutional right. So make sure you do that. And with that, we will stand adjourned.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com. Skip's Marysville Music Cafe, with lessons in person and personalized. Instruments including guitars and amps, horns, strings, strings for instruments, and a myriad of music and sound equipment. Skip's Marysville Music Cafe.